Hi guys, this week we're doing a bunch of shoulder poses and a couple arm balances. So we're gonna start out in dolphin and then we'll try crow and firefly and cool it down with a pose called thread the needle. So we'll do a little shoulder warm up first, but otherwise we'll just hop right into it. So go ahead and find yourself a good place to practice today, whether that's on your mat or a carpet, blanket, towel, whatever you have, and we'll go do it. All right, so first of all, let's just start by warming up the shoulders a little bit. So you can come to a comfy seated position and just sit up nice and tall, and then pick up your shoulders by your ears, roll them down your back. We're just gonna do that a couple of times. Moving forward first, and then switch your direction, go the other way. And then we'll start to reach the arms up overhead. Once you get there, turn your palms to face out and just press your hands back down. Keep the arms nice and straight. Once they get down to the bottom, inhale, reach up. And exhale, press down. Do 3 more like that. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, press down. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. And then we'll take the arms out to the sides. We're going to do the same thing, just going forward and back. So we'll bring the hands in, really round in the spine. Pull your shoulder blades apart from each other when you get here. Then turn your palms out. Press the hands away from each other. Press the chest forward. Then inhale, round in. Tuck your chin. And open up. Do 3 more like that. Round in. Open, pull in, open, and last one, pull it in, and open. Then just bring your hands down by your sides. You might wiggle your shoulders out a little bit. You probably are feeling a little bit of heat in your shoulders. I know I am. So just let that sort of sink in. And then we'll come to tabletop. So we'll set up for a few rounds of cat and cow here, bringing your knees right under your hips and your hands right under your shoulders. Spread your fingers nice and wide and turn your index fingers to face forward. Then pull the shoulder blades together, drop your belly, pull your chest forward. Exhale, press into your hands, tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone, and move the shoulders apart. Really focus on spreading the shoulder blades. Then drop your belly, pull the chest through, squeeze the shoulders together. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin, spread the shoulders apart as much as you can. One more time, inhale, drop your belly forward, and exhale, round in the spine. And then come back to neutral in your tabletop position. All right, so we're gonna move into our first pose now, which is called dolphin. It's basically a downward facing dog version where you're on your forearms instead of being on your hands. So if you have wrist problems in down dog, dolphin can be actually a really nice substitute. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put your elbows right where your hands just were, just lowering down into this like lower tabletop position. If you have on bracelets or something, it might be nice to take them off. Then you can have 2 options here. So the first is to leave your hands spread like you have them now, or you can interlace your fingers together, tuck your pinky underneath, make a fist, and have your hands pressing down that way. So you might try this both ways and see what you like better. Curl your toes under if they're not already curled under. And then we're just gonna lift the hips up and back like we're going to downward facing dog. You can keep a bend in your knees, but try to press your heels down. And then spread your shoulders apart as much as you can. Your head should be off the mat, so make sure that your head is not resting on the mat. The more you take your toes towards your elbows, the more intense this is going to get. When you're ready to come out, drop your knees, and come back to your tabletop position. So we're going to try one more round of that with the other hand position. So if you kept your hands flat, then you're going to interlace and make the fist. And if you made the fist, try it with your hands flat and just see what feels better. So I'm going to make it the fist this time. Just interlacing my fingers, tuck one of your pinkies underneath. And then press into your fist and your forearms. Curl your toes, send your hips up and back, right back to dolphin pose. And this time, if you want to work a little bit harder, you could start to play with lifting one leg at a time. Make sure you try both. Or if you wanted to make this more of a workout, you could tap your knees down to the mat and then straighten them back up again. Tap the knees down, straighten them. Tap, and straighten. When you're ready to be done, you just drop your knees, come back to your tabletop position. And a couple rounds of cat and cow might be really nice once you finish that. All right, pause here and journal your reactions to dolphin. All right, guys, next we're gonna set up for crow pose. So crow is an arm balance, and I want to tell you right now that these next two poses that we're going to do are pretty intense and intermediate, if not advanced poses. So if you find that you can't do them or don't want to do them, that's okay. You don't have to do the whole pose. You might just try the prep for them and see how that feels and go from there. Okay, so starting for crow, what we're going to do is we're going to come into a little like toe stand. So sinking your hips towards your heels and up on the balls of your feet. And then just like we did in that cat pose, in crow, you want to really be rounding your spine as much as you can, curling yourself into like a tiny little ball and really spreading your shoulder blades, almost like your shoulder blades are coming around your back. And towards the front of your body. So really wrapping everything in and around. To start for crow, you're going to put your hands back down on the mat with your index fingers turned forward. Some people think this is easier by turning your hands out a little bit. So you can try that too. Either straight forward or a little outward turn to see what's better for you. Then what you're going to do is send your hips high. You're going to bend your elbows and think about your elbows and your upper arms as a shelf for your shins. And then start to find that round, round, round in the back. So I'm wrapping my shoulder blades around my body. Look a little bit out in front of you and see if you can pull your toes up towards your glutes. And it might not be very much. When you're done, you just set it back down. Okay, so if you're like, no way, I'm not going to do that. Here are some options. I'm going to turn to the side. So you can bring your hands down, find your little toe squat, and just practice this. Just practice being in this position, shifting your weight forward, looking forward just a little bit. And then once you feel good about that, you can try just lifting one of your feet and then setting it back down. And then lift your other foot and then set it back down. And if you keep practicing, you will find that one day both of your feet will lift and you'll be balancing in crow pose. If you look straight down, you're probably going to fall down. So look not out all the way, but just out in front of your fingers. One more time, I'll show you from this side. So turn your hands out just a little bit, shift forward, and then pull your toes up toward your butt. Look out in front. And then set it back down. Good job. Okay, so if you were in crow, take a moment to stretch out your wrists. So bring your hands to prayer and then turn your hands out, down, back in, and around. And do that one more time. Make a circle, just stretching out your wrists. Then maybe you'll go the other way. All right, and then stop and pause to journal your reactions to crow. If you didn't try crow all the way, just say what it felt like to think about trying it or kind of what your feelings are towards it right now. Next, we're gonna try one more arm balance. It's called Firefly. It requires a little bit of some hip opening. So we're gonna start in a quick lizard. If you wanna just bring your right foot forward, your left foot back, bring both hands inside of the right foot, and then drop your left knee down. Take your right hand to your right knee, roll it open, stretch here. Just let the openness start to come in into the inner right thigh. And then come back to center. Bring both hands back down. Curl your left toes under, lift up your knee. And just to get a sense of what's gonna happen in Firefly, start to see if you can take your right shoulder underneath of your right thigh. So now my right hand is on the outside of my right foot. My right shoulder's underneath my right thigh. And I'm lifting off of my back knee. And then just bring it back. We're gonna step forward into Malasana, left foot outside of your left hand, sink your hips down, bring your hands to prayer, and use your knees to, or your elbows to press your knees a little wider. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Then bring your hands down, step your right foot back, go ahead and drop your knee. We're going to stretch first. Take your left hand to the inside of your left knee, peel it open. And then just come back to center. Curl your back toes under and lift your knee. And then just see if you can get your left shoulder underneath of your left thigh. Left hand to the outside of left foot. Look out, but still down. And then gently release. Both hands inside of the left foot. Step your right foot outside of your right hand to Malasana. All right, so this is another one that you might never do, and that's okay. If you don't, you can just journal sort of how you think it would feel or kind of what your feelings are towards it right now. But if you want to try Firefly, how it works is both of your hands, just like we did in Lizard, are going to come to the outsides of your feet, like this. So almost like a turtle in its shell. And then you're going to bend your elbows, sit back on your hands, and see if you can lift your feet. You don't fall backwards. That was not intentional. So come back into your Malasana. Bend your elbows, take your feet forward, and then see if you can lift them, or one of them. And you might fall back on your butt. It's just kind of for fun. It's a crazy little pose, but try it or don't. Totally up to you. I'll do it from the side. You can see. My hip flexors are really tight today, so if you're like me, you might be really feeling this in this part of your hip, and that's normal. I'm not super warmed up, and if you're not either, that could be really hindering your ability to do this pose. But if you try it, go ahead and journal how it felt. If you didn't, journal what you think it would feel like or what it feels like to even do just Malasana or try to get your shoulder under your thigh. All right, last pose for today is thread the needle. It's a nice cool down, relaxing shoulder stretch. So to come into it, we're going to come to tabletop position again. Just hands right under your shoulders, knees right under your hips. We're going to do the right side first. So press into your left hand, lift your right arm and open it up. And then exhale to thread it through. Bring your right shoulder down. Bring your left hand out in front of you. So this is just a nice stretch for the front of the right shoulder. You can stay like this, or you can take your left hand towards your right hip. And then just start to switch it out. Bring your left hand down, press into it, lift up your right, open up, and set it down. Then we'll go to the left side. So press into your right hand, lift your left arm, open it up. Exhale, thread it through, and come all the way down. So in this pose, there's nothing that you have to really do. It's just an opportunity to stretch and breathe, relax. And then the option is there for the right arm to come into your right hip or your left hip, if you want that opening on the other side. When you're ready, you just gently start to release. Press into your right hand to lift the left, open it up, and then just set it down. Walk the hands in, find your seat. And that's it for today. So don't forget to journal your reactions to thread the needle and all these other poses if you haven't already. Remember also that this is just a practice. So even if right now crow and firefly don't feel possible for you, that doesn't mean they won't ever feel possible. So it just comes with time. The more you move and the more you practice, the easier it will become. So don't give up. Don't be hard on yourself. You're exactly where you need to be. And that's it for today. Namaste.